What is up, awesome people of the internet? Guys, here's the thing. This is about to be a rant, so be prepared. Because I have been seeing stuff floating on social media, and I'm just like, this makes no sense. So I need to make a video to talk about it. So I have seen stuff about people saying that Satou Sabally is going to get traded to the Chicago Sky. No, that makes no sense. What? Let's go through this. Okay. Here's the deal. Here's the deal, guys. Satou Sabally is going to get cored by the Dallas Wings, which is a 1-year deal. 1 year. All right, 1 year deal for Satou Sabally. We are about to head into a new CBA, which means the market is about to reset after the 2025 season. Okay, so after the season is over, the market's going to reset, and all these players who have their contracts ending in 2025, they about to get paid. Okay, so it's about to be a whole different ball game, and I would say a whole different amount of like teams who are in the hunt for a championship once we hit 2026, because we will have a new CBA. So with that in mind, the 1 year deal, the new CBA coming, what sense does it make for the Chicago Sky to trade away either the 3rd pick or the 8th pick or both to the Dallas Wings for Satou Sabally? Where does this make any sense? Okay, let's get into logic. Let's get into logic, guys. Actually, I'm sorry. I said 8th, 10th pick. The 3rd. I'm a little bit too excited about this, guys. The 3rd pick and the 10th pick, the Chicago Sky have in the 2025 draft. Why would the Sky trade those for Satou Sabally? What logic is there? Again, the market's about to reset at the end of 2025, which means likely that it's not going to reset so drastically that they end up redoing all of the rookie scale contracts, right? It's likely that those rookie scale contracts will stay in place, that have started before the CBA resets everything. So most likely, whoever the Chicago Sky picks, or whoever anybody picks in the 2025 draft, will be on the rookie scale contracts, even though the numbers for everybody else goes up. Most likely. Maybe there's a slight adjustment, but it likely won't be as dramatic as like everybody else, right? Because they're under contract. So you have a rookie scale contract is 3 years with the option of picking up that 4th year, right? So possibly 4 years with the 3rd pick in the draft and the 10th pick in the draft. And you would trade that away for Satou Sabally for 1 year when you are not even close to being a win now. It makes no sense, guys. And I don't understand. Like, I guys, let me know in the chat if y'all think that I am being too unrealistic or like what, because I'm just trying to think of logic. Logically, it makes no sense. It makes no sense, guys. It 100% makes no sense. Okay? All right. So let's continue to talk about this, okay? Because again, let me know if I'm too off on the deep end on this rant. But let's look at the Chicago Sky's roster and let's talk about it. Okay? You got Mariah Jefferson, guaranteed contract for next year. Elizabeth Williams, not guaranteed contract, but is likely going to be on the team for next year. Rachel Banham, guaranteed contract for next year. Lindsay Allen, not guaranteed, but probably will be on the team next year. Camila Cardoso, Angel Reese. Not guaranteed, but they ain't going nowhere. Okay? So you have your 2 core players, I would say, not in coring in terms of actually coring. I'm not saying, of course, they can't core them because they're rookies or whatever. But you have your 2 main players in Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese. That's your future. That's your future. Elizabeth Williams is there to help train them and help get them really, really acclimated to the program. Like she is like that sort of adjustment post player that's, yes, still can be productive. She was also very, very productive last year until in 2024 before she got injured. She's a player that can be very productive, but also can be that sort of setting by example, right? How she'll be able to help further the development of both Camila and Angel. So yes, you definitely got to keep Elizabeth Williams. Rachel Banham she's just fun. She's a fun player who can be a role player off the bench, great culture fit, yada, 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 all that stuff. Mariah Jefferson can be a backup point guard if she needs to be. Lindsay Allen did start as the starting point guard for the Chicago Sky last year, but, will probably also be in that sort of off the bench role, probably to start initially, unless the Chicago Sky end up getting Courtney Vandersloot in free agency. I think it's very likely that Courtney Vandersloot does come back to the Chicago Sky. I really feel like that's likely because I don't really see the market being that great for her anywhere else. But I think the Chicago Sky would absolutely take her, and she'd do well there, likely as the starting point guard for the Chicago Sky. Of course, getting a little bit of a pay cut, but yeah, she's likely going to be on the Sky next year. But anyway, Kennedy Carter, I don't think Kennedy Carter returns to the Chicago Sky. I want her to. 100% I want her to. And I don't even know if the Chicago Sky want her, because in the conversations that I've heard, it's like, oh, we're waiting, we're going to talk to Kennedy when it's time and all this other stuff. And, even though she's a restricted free agent, you could be like, you know what? Yes, we want Kennedy Carter. She's great. We want her and blah, blah, blah. No, they've been very tight-lipped about the whole situation. And because of that, I don't think they're looking to get Kennedy Carter back. Now, should they? Absolutely. I think it's foolish to not get Kennedy Carter back, but I think that's a chance that they will probably not get her back, which I think, again, silly, but it is what it is. Maybe you could try to finagle that into some sort of trade or something to get some sort of benefit out of Kennedy Carter before she pops off and leaves. You should get Kennedy Carter. I don't think they're likely to do it. Michaela Onyenwere, she's for sure returning back to the Chicago Sky. It's a question mark about Izzy, probably not. I would say Brianna Turner, no. And so now you got to figure out the other pieces. But none of these pieces will be Satou Sabally, because with the roster I just named, do you think the Chicago Sky is going to compete for a championship next year? No. And if you say they are, I got a bridge to nowhere to sell you. Okay, I have a bridge that goes to nowhere. I will sell it to you for $1 billion. If you think the Chicago Sky is going to be a contender next year. They're not. The best the Chicago Sky can do is make the playoffs. And to me, that'd be a win. Make the playoffs, develop for the future, win. The Chicago Sky, the strategy that makes the most sense for the Chicago Sky, because we finally have our picks. We did that dumb trade for Marina Mabrey a long time ago. We washed out a whole bunch of picks. And so we haven't really been able to take advantage of the WNBA drafts. We were able to finagle, shout out to Jeff Pagliacca, who was able to finagle a whole bunch of stuff to get 2 first-round draft picks last year, which was amazing. And you got that, developed that, took that, made that into your 2 cornerstone players in Camilla and Angel. Now you have the 3rd pick and the 10th pick. This is a huge opportunity for you. A huge opportunity for you to make some noise. And for you to do what the Las Vegas Aces did. Build over time. Build through the draft. Not through trades. And sure, you'll have trades and they'll help to make you better or whatever. But the core building of the Las Vegas Aces, I guess it's not a dynasty because it didn't last long enough. They're still technically together, but there's going to probably be some shakeups there. Anyway, what made Asia Wilson, Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, what made that whole thing happen, and then you insert, Becky Hammond in its automatic championship. But even before that, with Bill Lambier, they were really good and making some noise. What spurred that on is because you had lots of first-round picks, and in their case in particular, first, number 1 picks, right? Chicago Sky doesn't have that. We've never had a number 1 pick. We probably never will. We're just very unlucky. I don't know. But we have an opportunity to pick 3rd in the WNBA draft. You have an opportunity to possibly either get a point guard or a very excellent small forward in that number 1 slot. Okay? And then for number 10, you have an opportunity to get a bona fide shooter that, yeah, sure, cannot replace what Kennedy Carter did, but can bring energy, can bring a lot of points and all that stuff. You got a lot of potential. And you can take that and continue to build and build and build and build and build. Why waste an opportunity to have a cornerstone player through the draft by trading for Satou Sabally for 1 year? You're weighing 4 years, possible years, for 1 year on a player who may not even return to the Chicago Sky, in 2026. She's gonna be a free agent after the 2025 season's over. She's gonna get cored for 1 year, sign and trade, go somewhere else. Even if it's not a coring that the Wings do, and it's a standard sign and trade where and it's not a coring, she's still only going to agree 1 year, because again, the market is getting reset at the end of the 2025 season. So why would you get rid of a possible starter 3-4 years down the line for the Chicago Sky for 1 year for Satou, especially when you're not even in win now mode. What's the point? It's the same thing that James Wade did when everybody left. Candace left. The Vanderquigs left, right? And it was all bad news bears for the Chicago Sky. We won a championship, and then we didn't win, and then everybody left. Emma Meeseman said she ain't coming back to the WNBA. It was a whole bunch of stuff for the Chicago Sky. And James Wade was panicking, and he was like, you know what, Dallas Wings, here's a whole bunch of first-round picks. We want Marina Mabrey. What did that lead us to? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It led us to the playoffs, sure, but who cares? The goal is to build for a championship. It didn't do anything for us. So what sense does it make for the Chicago Sky to trade everything, not everything, but trade our biggest assets, in these draft picks? Why would we trade that for somebody for 1 year when we're not going to compete for a championship? Now, y'all probably saw the other video I made. I talked about how I thought that the two best options really for the Dallas Wings is New York and it is Indiana, because both of those teams are in win now mode, and they are likely to give up their first round pick for Satou Sabally. I could see that happening, right? Even with the Minnesota Lynx, they're in win now mode too. They're not going to trade for Satou Sabally. I don't think that makes any sense, but they could. Chicago makes no sense to me. And guys, let me know in the chat. I feel like I've kind of laid out my reasonings, but let me know. Are you like, nah, Quita, you crazy? Nah, it makes sense for the Chicago Sky to pick Satou Sabally for 1 year, even though she can go somewhere else and the market resets after 25 seasons over. Even though all that's the case, yes, Satou Sabally to Chicago Sky. If y'all saying that, let me know in the chat. I'm trying to figure out what logic people have in saying that she's gonna go to the Sky. What logic? Please tell me the logic. Anyway, that's my rant. I'm sorry, guys. I just had to let it out. I had to let it out and just speak from my heart. Y'all know I'm a Chicago Sky fan, but even without me being a Chicago Sky fan, logic-wise, I don't think it makes any sense. It makes no sense for anybody to trade for Satou Sabally, with the exception of, Indiana, New York Liberty. Yeah, sure, the Sparks could, but at the same time, they're also not in win now mode. So it doesn't make a ton of sense, though. Maybe you can, since it's LA, you can convince Satou to stay longer. Maybe you roll the dice. I'm okay, we get her for a year. It's LA. She's going to love it. And she's going to re-sign with us again. And then we really built something with her and Cameron Brink sort of leading the charge. Maybe. But I think definitely New York, Indiana makes the most sense. Maybe LA, maybe. And I think, everybody else is way less than that. And at the bottom, towards the bottom of that list is the Chicago Sky. They're not. And if they do, it's stupid. Okay? All right. Somebody need to give me a GM job. I'm just saying, somebody give me a GM job. I know what I'm talking about, because I would have told y'all that Marina Mabrey trade was stupid. That we did. But we did it. And what did that get us? Nothing. Learn your lesson, Chicago Sky. Don't be so desperate to make the playoffs that you make a boneheaded decision that you will regret for the next 3 years. Don't do it. Sort of advice from Quita. So yeah, anyway, rant's over. I'm done. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I will see y'all in the next one. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.